Hello friends and welcome back. So the next topic is the JMS, which is called the Java Messaging Service. Okay, so before I directly jump into the execution, okay, I will explain you the major important critical concepts of JMS, which is very important to understand because if you directly jump into the execution, then you definitely will be get confused always with this topic because this is bit confusing till you are not clear on the basics. If the basics are clear to you, then it will not be confusing. So it is very important to understand the basic concepts of JMS before you go for the executions because there are multiple dependent component of JMS. Those are related with each other, and when we configure them, they need to be configured in a proper order. Okay, so it is very important to understand all these components along with the relationship between them, right? So I will explain you first the basic introduction to JMS. What is JMS? What are the important components related with the JMS, the features of JMS, why we use it, and then the important core components that we have in the WebLogic when we configure the complete end-to-end JMS servicing. Servicing. Right. So I have divided this particular session, JMS session, in four parts. Okay. So if required, I will change it accordingly. Once we'll go through the sessions. Okay. Once we'll progress with the sessions. So the very first session, section one, I have divided into the introduction to JMS. Okay. In the introduction, we have multiple core concept that we need to get clear. It's very straightforward and very clear. Okay. I will try to explain in a very basic and simple way, and then we'll jump into the core execution. So core execution means when we'll go for the configuration of the resources in the remote console tool. Okay, so for that, these all sections, whatever I have designed, section 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, they are completely related with each other in terms of the services. So I have divided in four sections so that you can understand it properly in the proper sequence. So first we will understand the JMS server and persistent store in section 2. Then we'll understand the JMS module, sub-deployment, connection factory, queues, and topic. Then we'll understand the JMS clustering, how we implement the JMS clustering. And then we have other core concept, which is called the messaging bridge and foreign server. Okay, and along with that, we have few more concept like the SAF. Okay, so that will also as we'll cover in the sessions later. Right. So now let us start with the basic introduction to JMS. Now, what is JMS? It is called the Java Messaging Service. Okay, that means it is a messaging service that is used in the Java for communication of the messages between different applications. Okay, that means I have an application, application one. This application wanted to talk to different application, application two. Okay, so for this we have the JMS in place, which is called the Java Messaging Service. Okay, it is similar to when the two peoples are talking with each other. Okay, there are two people talking to each other in two way, right? And the one is talking, the other is listening, and then second is talking, the other is listening. So the humans, we have the ear, right? We listen what the person is saying, and then we respond accordingly, right? But in the system, your system doesn't have the ears, right? So when two applications are talking to each other, whatever the application one wanted to talk, say to application two, they will communicate in terms of the message. Okay, it is in the terms of message. So message is means, for example, the people are talking to each other. There's the person one say how, hello, how are you? So hello, how are you will be interpreted by your second user, and he will respond, yes, I am fine, thank you. Right. So when applications are talking to each other, when application one say to application two, hello, how are you? Okay, so this will be a text, right? Text means it is going to take some size when it is going to be stored in your system, right? And then this text, which is in the form of bytes, will be communicated to the application two. Application 2 will read this text. It will interpret this text, whatever there in this particular message, and then it will respond back. So once it will respond back, for example, thanks, I am fine. Then this is again a text, which will take some bytes in your system, but when it is going to be stored in some file system or maybe in the database. Okay, and then it will be understand by the application one once the response received back. Okay, so this is called the communication. So when we say communication, that means two applications talking to each other. They are talking to each other in terms of the messages. They are sending messages to each other. Okay, so messages could be different thing. It could be in the form of XML file, it could be in the form of JSON file, it could be in the form of TXT file. So it could be anything. Okay, the way they wanted to talk to each other. So in a nutshell, two applications are talking to each other, communicating to each other with the help of JMS system. right? So now what is the role of JMS in between? That is fine that they are talking to each other, and then they are talking to each other in some of the messages, okay, and that messaging is processed by the JMS system, right? So but how it get processed? Okay, so so hope now it is clear to you what is message and messaging, right? So whatever the text that is getting exchanged between two applications, that is called message, and this system is called messaging, where the two applications are talking to each other. So it's not about two applications. There could be multiple applications. Okay, application 1, application 2, application 3, application 4, and they are talking to each other. Okay, there is no hard and fast rule that one application is on talking to other application, right? There could be multiple applications. That means communication is going on between multiple applications. They are exchanging the data with each other in form of XML, JSON, TXT, or anything, right? So this is called the messaging. Now the other concept is the destination. And destination, we have a local and foreign. So as I said, let's talk about the two applications only, application 1 and application 2. Okay, so this application 1, which is talking to application 2, okay, so this application can be referred as a destination. Destination in the sense, for example, if I say application is sending some message to application 2, okay, so when they are communicating with each other, okay, so the message is going to at some destinations. Okay, what is the destination? For destination, you need to understand two kind of a communication, that is called synchronous communication and asynchronous communication. Now what is the meaning of synchronous and asynchronous communication? Let me clear you. So first me clear this one. So when we say sync communication, okay, then when application 1 A is talking to application 2, the response need to be sent immediately at the same time. Okay, it's a real time communication. That means, for example, if you are doing the recharge of your mobile, you are recharging your mobile, okay, and you have done the payment, okay. So once you done the payment, then the immediately response need to send to your mobile, and then your mobile need to be recharged immediately. Okay, but sometime you will face there could be a delay, right? You recharge your mobile, but it took some time, 1 hour, 2 hour, or 3 hour of a time, or sometime maybe more than that one due to any reasons, and your message get stuck, right? Now, second case, for example, you are withdrawing the money from the ATM. You withdraw the money from ATM. So when you withdraw money from ATM, for example, if you have a $5,000 in your account, and you withdrawn $1,000 from your account, okay, then this amount need to be deducted from your account immediately. What you have withdrawn, right? Otherwise, what will happen if you have withdrawn the $1,000 from your account and it took 5 minutes to update your account? Okay, then within this 5 minutes, you can do multiple transactions. You can withdraw multiple monies, right? If this is not withdrawn, right? So that means if you have withdrawn 1,000 immediately, your account has to be now $4,000 immediately. So that means this is called a sync transaction where the response need to be immediately. But these kind of a services, okay, so here we are also expecting the response immediately, that I paid the amount and my mobile has to be recharged immediately, but sometime it take time, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, or maybe more than that one, right? It take time. So in these two transactions here, okay, this is the sync transaction where you need the immediate response, and this is kind of a async response, async communication, where your transaction is expecting the response, but it is taking longer duration due to any reasons. Okay, so this is, that means where a response is not immediately received or may not be expected immediately sometime. Okay, so this is called the async on sync. So that means if it is sync response, okay, there wouldn't be any JMS kind of a services in between, because two time applications are talking to each other with the real time. But when we have a async kind of a communication where the response is getting delayed, okay, the request is processing after some time, okay, that means we have some mediator in between. This is my application 1, and this is my application 2. Then in between, we have some mediator, okay, which is called the JMS service or JMS provider. So what is happening? Application is sending the message to a JMS provider or to JMS. Then application 2 is listening for this particular JMS service in between, and then it is processing the request, right? So when I say that in this particular case, the request is processed after 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, maybe more than that one, that means when this application tried to recharge your mobile, okay, then the request has been put somewhere in between, right? Which process after 1 hour or 2 hour or 3 hour of a time. That means if it is taking some longer duration, then before the message is processed by your application 2, it has to be persisted, saved at some places, right? So application A will send the message to a mediator system to your JMS provider in between. And when this application is available, maybe this application was not available due to any reasons. If this is available, it will pick the message from this location and it will process the request. And there's a region, okay, it took some time, right? So this is called the JMS provider, and this is called the async communication, asynchronization communication, okay, where there is a mediator in between when that applications are talking to each other. So what is the benefit of that one? Let me explain you that as well. Okay, so now when we are saying that when your applications are going to talk to each other and there is a mediator in between, this is application A1 or this is application 2. And now here in between we have the mediator which is called the JMS provider. Okay, so this application is sending message to your JMS provider. Message is getting stored here, right? And then it is getting processed by your application 2. Right. So this is a kind of a asynchronous communication, which is a JMS. JMS is a asynchronous because it is storing the messages in between somewhere. It is not processing at the real time. Right. So for that, you have some examples like the real time processing. For that real time processing, as I said, you have a synchronous communication. Maybe you are some batch processing. You have some order processing system, the message SMS short message systems, right? So these kind of a processings are called the async, right, where the response where the request is raised, but it may take some time for the processing. It could be minutes, hours, or day as well. Okay, and that is possible because you have a mediator in between where the messages get stored and then it processed by the destination application, right? So the benefit of that, this is a loose coupling. That means the application 1 is not completely dependent on application 2 for the response immediately. Okay, for example, this application 1 is processing the message, it's sending the message to application 2. Okay, and suppose this application 2 is not available. When this application 1 is sending message to application 2, what will happen? Your messages has to failed immediately, right? Because this is not available. So but if we have a JMS provider in between, and if this application is not available, which is expected to send the response, then application 1 will send the message to your JMS provider in mediator. Okay, so this application will not get impacted. It will keep processing. It will send the message to the mediator, and when this application 2 is available, then it will pick the message from here. So this is called a loose coupling. Okay, and what are the other benefit that we are getting from here? We are getting the retry and failure. Retry and failure means if, as I said, this application is not available, message is placed in the JMS provider. So from here, it will keep retry. The message will be retry. Okay, so that once, as soon as this destination is available, the message will get processed. So that means we have the retry capability of the messages, which is handling the failure. Your message is not getting failed immediately. If the destination is not available, it will be stored in the mediator and it will keep retry. And once this is available, it will get processed. Right? So we have a transaction safety. Our transaction will not get failed. Right? And this is in between is called the JMS provider. And now hope it is clear to you what is message, messaging, destination. So destination could be local or foreign. What does it mean for local or destination foreign? So as I said, I have an application 1 which is talking to your application 2. Okay, so it is possible that both application will be part of the same domain. Okay, I have a domain where I have multiple managed servers and multiple applications, and then I have two applications deployed in the same cluster or maybe same different cluster. Okay, and these are part of a certain domain in the same setup, and the applications are talking to each other. So as I said, this could be in the same domain or it could be in the different domain. So if the applications are in same domain, they can refer as local. If the applications are in different domain, okay, domain 1 of WebLogic and domain 2 of WebLogic, then domain 2 will refer as the foreign domain because that is a completely a different domain. Okay, and it's not about that this application, both application will be your WebLogic only. Okay, so application 1 could be a Java-based application which is deployed in your WebLogic, and application 2 could be your IBM WebSphere or deployed in IBM WebSphere or maybe the IBM MQ. It could be Active MQ, Rabbit MQ, or any third-party application, or it could be database or anything. If this application 2 could be anything. So if it is outside your domain, That is referred as the foreign. Okay, and the important concept is JMS is for the singleton services. Now, what is the meaning of singleton services? Singleton services means the request or services that need to be processed only once. That need to be processed only once. Okay, for example, as I said, you are going to recharge your mobile. Okay, you paid $20 for the recharge. Okay, then your mobile has to be credited with $20 only, not with the $40. That means not more than 20, not less than 20. Right? So if you have recharged your mobile and your message is picked up and put in the JMS queue or in the JMS provider, okay, and after that it has to be processed only once, not twice. Similarly, if you are withdrawing the money from your ATM, okay, so if you have deducted $1,000 from your account, okay, then this need to be debited from your account only once, not twice, right? So if you have JMS provider where if your message is getting placed at two places, right? For example, you are recharging your mobile, your recharge request message it put at two places. It could be possible that it will be processed twice. If you are withdrawing the money from your ATM, so this amount that need to be deducted from your account, okay, if it is this message to deduct the amount is getting placed at two places, okay, this is a synchronous communication, but I'm talking in terms of asynchronous just to show you the explain you the concept. Okay, so if this amount is going to be stored at two places, it could be possible that it may be processed twice. Okay, and it will be deducted from account twice, two times. So to avoid this one, WebLogic or you can say JMS is always a singleton services. That means these kind of a messages will store at only one places, not at two places, so that it process only once. Okay, so this is called a singleton service. So JMS is always a singleton services. So we have the clustering option as well, where we can do the JMS clustering. Okay, where we have a multiple JMS instances, okay, for your load balancing. Okay, but your message will be stored only at one place, not in the multiple places. That need to be processed only once, and that is called the singleton services. Okay, so this is called your JMS and the important core concept of your JMS. Now to achieve all these features what we have discussed so far, to configure that we need to configure these component in the WebLogic server, okay, in some specific order, okay, with some certain purpose. So now going in the next sessions, okay, I will explain you all with the details, okay, before I will go for the execution, how we configure that, what is the relation between them, okay, and then we'll understand it in a complete end-to-end architecture way as well, so that you will get a complete understanding of the JMS.